Yeah.
Hello and welcome back. I'm just gonna start, otherwise
very
we'll
nice.
never get
Yeah.
going. That was like my BBC voice. Do you like?
Honestly, I was
So,
like,
hello, welcome to the 6 o'clock news.
when you started, I was like, that was very formal,
Yeah.
professional of you.
Do you want me to loosen up a little bit?
Yeah, shake it out a little bit.
We should do like an icebreaker where I was gonna say we get everyone to join in, but we don't know if they are.
We don't have enough
Come on,
friends
guys.
for that. Come on.
Let's do some shimmies. Okay.
No, do you know what I saw the other day that I really want to try? You know when it's like truth or sip?
Yeah.
I want to do that, but I want people to send in, ask us questions.
Oh my God, yeah.
Or like basically truth or dare, but you know, your dare is that you have to drink something.
We'll bring more water.
line up the plum and bear shots.
Yeah.
But if we didn't want to drink, we could turn it into like, I have to pick really disgusting snacks, so do you, and it's like you either have to eat that snack and vom or answer the truth.
No, we can drink. I don't mind drinking water.
No,
I'll
it's
just
not water,
keep
it'd be
drinking.
drink.
Oh,
That's
I
what I mean,
thought you
it's
meant
like-
we can just like have the water.
No, because otherwise you'd sip at everything, wouldn't
Well,
you?
yeah, that's why
Yeah,
I said
no,
I'll
that's an
just keep
easy one.
drinking. I'm not answering nothing. No comment.
Sip, hydrate.
I am a hydrated queen after all.
You are,
Yeah.
but it would be either disgusting snacks as like a PG version. Not PG, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like easier.
That
Or
would be funny.
we eat, or you got to shot some alcohol or answer the question. So
Yeah.
anyone and everyone can ask us a question and we have to do that. I thought that'd be a good way to start a podcast.
That
and
would
then
be
get
so funny.
smashed halfway through.
Yeah, but being as we have no questions or alcohol today, how
Not
was your
today.
week been?
Straight back to it.
Yeah.
My week's been okay actually. It was quite busy last week. The Monday to Thursday was quite full on. I'm not gonna lie to you. We had the podcast. We did a later one because obviously you got back.
Yeah.
So we had normal work, normal life. Had a couple of sign-ups for PT as well as online. A few more this week. Ready to start for this week. And then went home on the weekend, which was quite nice. Chilled, reset. I had some sleep. I feel more human, and I realised I just needed some sleep.
Do you know what made me laugh is when you voice noted me and you were like, oh my God, who knew that when you got a good night's sleep, more than 4 or 5 hours, your weight actually goes down?
I know.
I feel everyone has this epiphany, probably every year. We go into the year having been in an off season or, you know, whatever. You go into prep or a diet and your sleep is not great. And then you have a good sleep, maybe 2 or 3 nights.
Yeah.
And you feel like a new person.
Yeah, it was like, do you know what? I can handle any of the stress that comes my way. Whereas before, I'd be like, there's no water left.
Yeah.
And I'd have a little meltdown. And then now I'm like, that's okay.
Come at me.
Yeah, try me. Please don't. Please don't. I've had enough.
Yeah. No, we would like some peace now.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
That's me pretty... do you know what? The only way... We were talking about this in the car and I was like, it was a bit too quiet. It was a bit too much of a quiet week.
Yeah.
And I was like, it just felt like a bit of mundane life.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've not...
I'm here for the mundane.
Yeah, well...
Because we were joking, like, Millie has this thing where if it's quiet, if it's peaceful, if everyone's happy, everyone's just getting on, she's like, nope, don't trust it. And I'm like...
Your impression in the car.
This
had me
is
in
what
tears.
we're meant to be doing.
You're like, no. You literally turn around and you're like, no, Millie, no. Everyone's happy. Everyone's fine. I was like, do you ever think it's like calm before the storm? And you're like, no, I don't, actually. I think it's just calm.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel something's
storm.
coming.
Yeah, well, you keep that to yourself.
No.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm good. There's
Yeah.
no chaos.
No.
Apart from normal chaos, but like, no big chaos. But anyways, how are you? How's your week been?
Yeah.
Tell us the news. Tell us the goss.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of not a slow week as such, but I didn't expect it to take so long to get over coming back from America. I think I did have like 3 or 4 days of just feeling so tired, so jet lagged, and I don't know, I just couldn't shake it. I was not expecting it at all because I didn't really have it going over there, and I thought, oh, it's only 5 hours, like I'm moving ahead in time, so surely that won't feel bad. But the first day that I woke up, it was just awful. I think I said that last time, like it was just so hard to get over. And then
I think it's like a hangover though, because you've just had like the most full-on jam-packed like couple of days. Like you came from over here, which was like just normal busy life, to like everything happening at once, just overstimulated to the max, to then come back, it's like hangover crash.
Yeah, it literally was like that. But then the weekend's been better, just like getting back into routine. Like I feel better in myself as well. Obviously I had my check-in today, because I hadn't actually last week checked in until Thursday or Friday. I think I could not do it, and then I checked in, sent a message to Ross, and I was like, right, bear with me here now, but like the head is off. I was like, I don't feel good. Like obviously I had my period, so like that was messing with stuff, and like
Always
food in
does.
America was different, the time zone was different, the sleep was off, and I was like, honestly, it's just everything. And I never want to be one of those that like makes an excuse, but I did not feel great, and I didn't feel like I looked great, but obviously I needed to get it in anyway. So he was like, yeah, just take the weekend, get back to your normal routine, it'll be fine. And lo and behold,
It's fine.
it's fine. So yeah, it's nice to just get back to it, have a bit more normality this week. So
Just want a normal life. Like, sorry.
I just want to be normal.
I came out like...
Is it too much to
I
ask?
just started there where I was like, I lost half my sentence. I was like, I just want a normal life of like, in a week, like how we were just talking about last week, and you getting back into routine. Sometimes you just, when everything's just going 100 miles per hour, it's nice just to have a week of being like, I just have my normal boxes. I just need to do my gym, check in, work, live.
Yeah.
Not be like, I'm about to jet off. Like, that's fun. That's exciting. I love that. But sometimes it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I just need to breathe.
And I think it ties in quite nicely with today, because obviously we wanted to talk about career and personal development and like what growth means to us and all of that. And obviously last week going to the Arnold's, that was such a massive moment for like career development and personal development for me. Like there were so many things that challenged me in so many ways that I know that I'll take lessons from. So it's just kind of funny to then see, you know, sometimes even when you do have that, it's so important to give yourself time to unwind almost. Like it's great challenging yourself and pushing yourself to do better, but
reflecting as well. Sometimes you need a minute to actually be like, what have I just done? Cool. Take that all in. Love that.
So
well,
let's get cracking.
Should we get straight into, obviously you've gave us the little intro into careers, development, growth. Shall we go into our questions? We asked you guys some questions, and of course,
well, you asked about 6 in 1.
I know.
So shall we break that down a bit?
Oh my God, guys, if you answered my question, I'm so sorry. I pulled over on the side of the motorway last night and I was like, I need to put these questions up. And I thought, that makes sense. I remember I rewrote it about 4 times. Did not make sense. Me talking about how I'm like not sleep deprived anymore.
I did read it and I was like,
why didn't you message?
Interesting.
You should have just been like, bitch, that makes no sense.
I mean, it wasn't that it didn't make sense, just there was like this slash, and I was like, okay.
So the way I wrote it, and then we'll say the way you wrote it. So I had put, what do you do? or like to do more of in order to grow / learn / steps towards self-development. So in my head, I said that as like, what do you do in order to grow, in order to learn, in order to take some steps towards self-development, or what would you like to do more of in order to grow? But obviously that sounds a lot more English when I explain it. How did you write it?
What does development or growth mean to you?
Was
my first one.
Yep, that was good that. Well,
I would be interested to know first, what does development or growth mean to you? Like a brief summary.
As in like, so when I read that, I meant like, because I read yours and I was like, do I answer that as like what it means to me, or like what do I do in order to?
No, what does it like mean to you? So what does development mean to you? How would I want to grow?
I feel like everything I do like day to day is always in a in an attempt, let's say, because it's not always, you fail some days where you just like, I know you still learn from that, but every day I'm still trying to either grow or learn, not just as like a person or an athlete, but also as a businesswoman, because that's what we are at the end of the day. Whether that's we come to the podcast and we're learning new ways of how we can build, of how we can grow in a like professional standpoint, as well as my business. Okay, right, what have I lacked on? Like I feel like reflection's like the biggest thing. What have I really lacked on this week? What have I done well? What hasn't gone well? What have I tried and not worked out the way I wanted it to, for instance. So I think having, you know how we talked about goals the other week, I think having your list of goals is really important, because otherwise what acts are you going to take towards growing towards them goals or learning towards them goals. So we'll always reflect on that. I think it is really important to me. I don't have a set like, it's not that's one of the things where it's quite difficult. Think it's important to talk about. There's not a tick box where you can just be like, yeah, this is what's going to help me grow.
Yeah.
This is what's going to, normally it's a bit shit. Like, you have to go through some shit to grow and to like actually develop.
Yeah, I think that's the number one thing. Like, if you're not pushing yourself and you're not becoming uncomfortable, you aren't growing.
You're not growing.
Because how are you changing yourself? Like, you can joke about it, you know, like, oh, it's character development, all of this, but like, yeah, you're building your character and you're growing into a better person, like, without going through some level of adversity. Yeah, we don't want it to be soul destroying, but you know, there has to be some element of being uncomfortable in order to grow.
And learn from it, learn from those experiences, and then either make sure that doesn't, one, either happen again, or two, if it does happen again, you have the tools to then be able to cope with it better. Because
every time you do face something difficult or challenging, like, I know it can suck, but like you've just said, you're giving yourself the tools to then next time, if you have a similar situation, like, get around it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that goes for all aspects of life, whether that's business, self-development, personal relationships. Like, you have to go through suck. That's like as shitty as it is, but then it's not, because you look back and you think, my god, thank god I went through that, or thank god I had that failure, or I had like so many roadblocks, because it wouldn't like, I'm not going to go into a whole thing about failure, but like, you know, when you look back and you think, oh my god, that was a really difficult thing to achieve, or that was really difficult for me to actually understand or learn or grow from, and you think, yeah, because there was like the biggest thing in the way, where you thought, I'm never going to overcome this problem, I'm never going to achieve this because this is in the way. So then when you do get to it, you think, oh shit, like, this is what I did to get there. That's quite big. It's a big thing to you. So,
and I think another way to look at it as well is that sometimes growth and career development can, like, personal growth and career development can come hand in hand, but it might not always look like a step forward. Sometimes it will look like a step sideways onto a different path to then step forwards later. Because I think sometimes when people come from an industry that isn't in the fitness industry and then they move into the fitness industry, that can, you know, be that you've completely changed your career direction, let's say, and so you might think that you haven't necessarily developed, but if you're following a path now which is more suited to you as a person, then you're allowing yourself to grow more, and your career is sort of following you, which is kind of what I have felt too, obviously moving over from like working in the NHS and stuff. And I think I kind of went down that path. Like, I obviously was interested in it. Like, I went to uni for 5 years and worked for the NHS for like 4 years and stuff like that. But they never really highlighted sports as an avenue at my school for us to go down. And like, I've always been a sporty person, so I was almost not developing as an individual because I was trying to develop in a career that I thought I should have.
Different loads of avenues.
Yeah. Whereas like now I am developing my personal self but I've shifted my career, and now I can also develop that like alongside myself.
Yeah.
So I think that's also important to note, that development isn't linear, basically. Like, you may step sideways, you may step back, you may step forward, but
You may do all of this and then later in life be like, do you know what, this maybe isn't for me anymore, you know?
yeah.
And like you were saying, literally how it correlates with your story, NHS, and then it's like, actually, this is a better path for me.
Yeah.
You might even find in years to come it might be something different.
Yeah.
Doubt it, but like, you never know. There's like similar how you were saying about that. I know one of the girls, she had messaged me the other day. She listens to the podcast, but she was asking me about coaching because her full-time, she's competed before, and I think she's going to compete again, I don't know, next year after, and she works in finance as her full-time job. And obviously since going into bodybuilding, fitness, she's already like, she's done years of studying for finance and done everything like that, and in that area of work. And I from what I see as well, from what she posts and what she puts on like her stories, like, it's quite full on. So she messaged me and she was saying like, I really don't like my job anymore, or like this kind of area of work, and I've started coaching. And she was asking me like, which was like a pinch me moment, because I was like, you're asking me about advice? Because she was asking about like work taking off and how I found it and what I'd done and like my mistakes, my lessons and all this. And like, she's trying to balance the two, but she's now seen how much she loves that avenue, a sports related career. So she's now trying to obviously balance the both until she can make that her full time. And I'm like, I love that for you, and it's just that change. And she's now learning and growing, and like, she's trying, like, this is her time of like trialing out new things. And like the same way when you first started out posing coaching, and it's like, right, what works for me, what doesn't work for me, what times do I post, what times do I do this, like all this like chat she have with Phoebe. So it's just learning from that.
And I feel like you've also had a similar, maybe not as much of a jump between industries, let's say, because you were already in nutrition, which is hugely important in bodybuilding, but you also said a couple of episodes ago that you had first competed, or maybe you were in prep and you thought, you know, actually this is what I want to do, and then that's when you started looking into it as well. So I think it's so important for us all to allow ourselves that if we start doing something that we love and that we're so passionate about, if you want to be involved in it, don't think, oh, I can't, or, you know, I'm already in a career, I need to stay in this, because if you're passionate about something, you'll be so much more fulfilled in your life to go down that path.
Oh my god, yeah. Like waking up every day, like I just, when people say like, what time do you wake up, and I'm like, I get up early, but there's not a day where I get up and think, oh, for God's sake, I hate getting up, god, I gotta go and do this now. And like, no, I get up and I'm like, oh, I see this person at 6:30, quite enjoy that. And then I've got, you know, they won't mind me saying it, and then I've got Trisha at 7:30, we have a big, like, we can go through this and we'll chat about that. Like, I genuinely enjoy it. I'll get around to check-ins, and like, I feel quite privileged enough to know like the jobs that I was doing when I was younger, to experience like waking up and be like, oh my Christ, I would rather call in sick, quit, like to the point where I'm like in tears because I just do not want to go into that job, to now being into a career and
I actually love it.
Industry that I absolutely love.
I used to get like pre-shift anxiety all the time. Like, obviously it was quite a harsh environment anyway, but it would be the day before my shift, because we would have like 3 in a row, or like especially with nights it would be 3 or 4 nights in a row, and the day before I would just lose all appetite. I wouldn't want to do anything. I would be just so anxious for the whole day, because I knew that it was coming up and I knew how awful it would be, and just how much I really struggled, like especially on nights. And yeah, it's just to not have that anymore. It's nice. Like, thank God. Whereas now I'm like, I feel so happy to just do what we do.
I do love it, and I do think we're really, like, speaking about this the other day, we are really privileged in what we do. Like yeah, I know I like, so do you, go to the gym and like you have those hours, but outside of that is so much more flexible, like, than a 9 to 5, and it's doing work that you do, it's on your time, it's doing something that you enjoy. Whereas, like, I didn't realize how rare it was to actually, for people to be like, I genuinely love my job, or I genuinely love what I do. It's not just because I know some people, it's literally just, I have to do what I have to do.
But even, like, some people still do get that in a 9 to 5, like, if they do genuinely love what they do.
Yeah. I just mean in general, like to enjoy, like,
to
not
enjoy
just because
your life.
it's so flexible, but like, I think it's rare to really enjoy your job nowadays anyways.
Yeah, which is crazy because we spend more time doing our job than anything else.
No, literally.
So
it's the most about
fucking enjoy it. If you hate what you're doing, quit. No, I'm joking. Don't take my advice.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
But yeah, one of the responses that I got, which I really liked, I'll read Ross's first actually because it's funny. So growth or development to Ross means more people being able to understand his accent. And I laugh about that all the time because when I first started with him, it must have been one of the first Loom videos he sent me, and I accidentally had it in double speed, and I
the fear.
That was a lot.
That was like second guessing everything there.
But the response that I liked was so development or growth means that she sees it as her story. Her whole life is a book, and each moment, whether good or bad, is just a new chapter, and I'm excited to see the rest of what is to come. And I really liked that thought about it.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
That's
and
the
I think
sweetest.
I think it's like a good way to view it as well, because you can have bad moments, you can have good moments, but there's always another chapter, and it hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? So there's so much more to look forward to.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Aww.
Did you have any nice ones?
I did. Also, if we're talking about Ross as well, quick one. No, I remember him trying to speak to me. I can't remember. It was the first time I ever met him, and he was talking. I remember just thinking, "Oh my god, what is he saying?" He was talking so quickly. I think it's when we trained together at FLF, like beginning of last year.
Because it's really loud in there too. As well. It's
and
just...
I felt so bad. I think he asked me a question. I just went, Lovely. So my one was, what do you do or would like to do more of in order to either grow, learn, steps towards self-development? One of them was, do the things that scare the shit out of me. That's good.
I like that.
I push you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Practice gratitude, which I quite like. The whole reflection thing. Surround yourself with like-minded people in a healthy environment. Invest into yourself because it's the best investment you could ever make. Reading, mentors, etc.
Yeah.
Keeping an open mind and learn from others. And take bigger risks.
Nice.
Cute.
I do like those.
Very cute.
What would you say is your favourite?
Do the things that scare the shit out of you, because that's as soon as I know something terrifies me, whether I'm having panic over it or I'm nervous, I know I care about it straight away. Yeah. So I'm like, if this shits me up enough for me to be in this state, then I obviously care.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool. And everything I've ever done, like in terms of like career or like education, even A-levels, like I'm not going to go off into one, but A-levels, I ended up moving schools, like to go do my A-levels for like a better opportunity. Told me I couldn't do science because I didn't have the GCSEs. Didn't have the GCSEs really to get into that school. They told me I couldn't do science. So then when I got my like 3 A-levels, I then got into uni to then do the degree that I wanted to do, and I was like terrified I wasn't going to make it through A-levels. Got to uni, you can do biomedical science, because I was like, cool, I'll do a science now, because I was like, I want to do nutrition. You can't do nutrition without doing a foundation year. Cool. Then I'll do a foundation year. Terrified I'm not going to pass my foundation year, because that means I can't do my nutrition. If I can't do nutrition, what am I going to do? Go on to nutrition, what if I don't qualify? And it's like, what if I don't make it through and I don't qualify? Cool, done that. Even like with preps, if you're going through that, like what if I don't make it through this prep? What if
Yeah.
I, you know...
I mean, not even that, but just like stepping on stage is so scary.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you get used to it, but...
Oh my God, nothing prepares you
No.
for it. Like, we've said that before. Like,
yeah. But then at the same time, it's the most exciting
Exciting
feeling ever, because you know that you're pushing yourself, and you know that like once you achieve something
yeah.
like that, it's like what I said last week,
Literally.
it's never going to be harder than the hardest
Yeah.
day. So
It literally makes me smile, like, thinking about it, because I still remember the first, like, steps I took on stage, even, like, on the Two Bro stage. And, like, I still remember, like, going up the stairs and taking my first step and, like, going on. And I remember being like, I can't see a thing.
I was literally so nervous.
Yeah, but I loved it.
Yeah, I agree. Sort of doing things like pushing yourself, followed by gratitude, and just taking it all in. But yeah, it makes me laugh as well, because when you were mentioning, they said you couldn't do science and stuff. I got told at a parents' meeting before picking my A-levels by my English teacher, because we went around the school and we spoke to the teachers that we thought we wanted to do the subject with. Spoke to my English teacher. I was like, I really want to do English. She was like, don't, you can't spell. And obviously last week's episode when I couldn't spell pear proves that nothing has changed. I didn't do English.
If you fail, stop.
Yeah.
This is what you've learned today.
Just take a different path.
Yeah. Don't bother.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Don't need to spell now, do I?
No, you don't. No, you don't. Who needs your brain now?
So then the second question was, what advice would you give someone wanting to start a new journey? And I got quite a few lovely responses here too.
Oh, you go for it.
I'm going to start with Ross again. Use the sat nav. When he sent his responses through last night, I was absolutely crying.
They were good. They were good from Ross.
I sent a message to him and I was like, I'm literally howling at these. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like,
So I'm being serious.
yeah. Oh yeah, this kind of relates to what we were just saying. Your first anything will always be bad. It's the first time you've done it, but you can't get to the 100th time without starting, so just go. I do like that.
I know, I love that. I've heard that one before, but like, you know, when you hear it, you're like,
yeah.
this is like, do you know what? This is setting up my Monday and my week.
Yeah.
You know, when you're like listening and I'm like, this is the motivation I needed today
yeah.
for a fantastic week.
Yeah.
Love that.
Got another one. Just remember, it's never too late to start something new. Go into it with no expectations or doubt and just go for it. So all fairly similar, but I do like them. They all are very positive.
Love that. Mine, I didn't get as many, but I got... oh. So the question, what advice would you give... Oh, when was my next story? What advice would you give to someone wanting to start a new journey? So advice. Believe in your dreams.
Oh, yeah.
Just keep going. And like, just like little ones, like, don't give up.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's really sweet. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Like, I would say...
I am non-stop hitting this microphone today. I do apologise.
Rude gal. I would say... it is just like keep going, isn't it? And I would say expect the unexpected, because you're going to hit some shit. In whatever you want to do, it's not going to be... If anything is worth having...
Oh, you'll put in the work.
Yeah.
Nothing worth having comes easy.
That's it. That's what...
Yeah.
Thank you.
But also, expect the unexpected, yes, but don't also go into something being like, it's going to be a shit show.
No.
Which is what you do. Something bad's going to happen. It's the calm before the storm. No,
do you know what? No,
that's
my like psychic energy coming out.
Yeah, I mean, your gut feeling
is never wrong.
Really terrifies me.
It's never
when
wrong.
Millie messages me and be like, I feel sus, I'm like, here we go. What is she gonna...
You get your glasses off,
now?
For God's sake.
Yeah. Oh God.
Do you know what? I haven't said I feel sus in a long, long time.
Oh, thank God.
It's not been a sussy time.
No, because you'll just send it as like, I feel sus, ... and then typing. And those 3 little dots like that on WhatsApp, I'm literally there like, what? What's this?
And I'll make,
spit it out.
I'll make meal 1 and you'll be like, what is it?
Yeah.
I'll be like,
And you're not even typing, you've just got the message open, so it's like dot 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 dot. I'm like,
come on.
yeah.
Anyways, we digress.
Yeah,
what was the topic of
that is
this?
funny. I also did another one. How
you
important is it to you that you feel you're able to learn new things? Because this is something that I feel is really important for my own like personal development. I feel like I'm thriving when I'm learning something new, or again when I'm being challenged like that. And I had 91% say yes, this is also very important. What would you feel like that? Do you like feeling like you're learning stuff?
Yeah. Otherwise, I feel like nothing worse than someone's telling me something I already know, and they're being like, "Oh, you need to do this, this, and this," and I'm like, "I know that.
Yeah,
I know."
like having like enriching conversations. Yeah, I do like that.
I like my brain to be stimulated when I'm having a conversation.
Yeah.
To be like, right. Like when we get into, I wouldn't say we get really deep on the podcast, like low deep, but like when we're having conversations like this and actually having a discussion, or like, I think when I was back at home, we were talking about politics for a while, and I was like, I really like these stimulating conversations rather than just somebody being like, I don't know.
Weather's nice.
Yeah.
The weather is nice though.
The weather is lovely.
Really enjoying
it. Yeah, that's all I've said today. The weather's gorgeous today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's put me in a well good mood.
It really has. And then I also put, what is one thing that you wish you knew before starting the journey you're currently on? It doesn't have to be bodybuilding related. What do you think you would answer to that? What is one thing you wish you knew before starting?
For my career?
Anything.
Oh, anything. That it's okay to fail, and it's okay to put pressure on yourself, but not so much that it's suffocating.
Yes.
So like, pressure is good. You work, like, you need pressure. I think you need pressure to work efficiently, but not to the point where it suffocates you and you now are like immobilized.
Yeah.
And you're just like paralyzed from it, and just like, I can't, I've got way too much to do, and it's like the slightest thing will set you off, because I've had that before where it's like I was getting that, and I know when I'm tired, because I'll get like that and I get overwhelmed by the silliest things. So that's what I would say.
We did actually learn about that at uni. There's like an actual graph that is the correlation between like pressure and productivity, and it's like an N, so it obviously goes up, and it reaches a point where it peaks between like peak productivity but also pressure, but then when it gets past a point of the pressure being optimal, it like the productivity then starts to go down again, because you need it to be like the perfect balance of a little bit of pressure, but like you've just said, not too much, because if it's not enough, what you've said previously, you don't care, so you're not going to work hard. But if it's too much, then you're not going to be productive, because you're just whirling in anxiety.
And you're just clouded by pressure and like you said, anxiety. So that's what I would say advice. What about you?
That's nice. What do I wish I knew? Probably something similar. Yeah, just like, it's okay. Everything will be okay.
Sometimes you just need that, don't you?
Yeah.
That's why we have coaches and friends, isn't it? To be like, me telling you my situation or what I want to do and what I want to achieve is not going to help me get to that. But sometimes you just need to vent it out for someone to be like, it's okay, you're going to get there.
And I also like the phrase that a lot of people say all the time, and it's always on social media, but like, what is meant for you will never pass you by. I do really like that, because I think sometimes it can, especially when we've got such specific goals in bodybuilding, or maybe in your career, or I know you've mentioned before, if you compare yourself to someone who is where you want to be but you're not there yet, it can feel difficult, like, oh well, what am I doing wrong, how do I get there? But if you just go back to knowing or remembering that what is meant for you will never pass you by, then all your goals are going to come to you at some point. So I do quite like that.
I like that.
Yeah. But some of the ones that I got on here were, Don't be afraid to say no. I like this
Ooh.
one.
Boundaries.
Yes.
Yeah, don't stretch yourself thin. Yeah, that's good.
And like linking it back to what your values are or where you're trying to get to, your goals. If it doesn't align with that, then it's okay to say no.
Oh, I really like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as perfect, and everyone's experience is different. Love that.
True. Very true.
Yeah. Because I feel we do strive to be perfect.
Yeah.
And again, I think that's on a graph where there's a point where you can kind of get there, but if you push any further, you're just making it worse.
Social media does that
majorly.
Yeah. And everyone thinks like, oh, your life's going so well, you're doing this, you're smashing that. And I'm like, yeah, but like, I am in that respect, but you never know what's going on behind someone's closed doors and what's going on.
And when we were talking about like instant and deferred gratification before, I saw this reel the other day saying, you know, it's hard in today's world because you can order something. They gave the example of ordering on Amazon Prime, and you can literally get it today or next day, and it's here right now. You can get whatever you want now. So it's hard to put that in perspective of your goals and, you know, maybe seeing other people be perfect. But again, like you said, social media, they don't post all the shit.
And it's fake.
Yeah.
It's fake as well.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it, like, not saying not everyone's fake, but like some people will be like, oh my god, this isn't going on, and like 9 times out of 10 that's made way bigger than what it already is.
I also thought this one was quite interesting. When you climb the ladder, you just inherent how do you say that word? Inherent a different set of problems, new levels, new devils.
Oh,
yeah,
different. That's true.
Yeah,
I was talking about this the other day, like with my mum, and comparing myself from a business standpoint, like from a year ago to now. And I remember not being down, but I was like, oh, God's sake, like, we were reflecting on things, and I was like, I want this, this, and this. I'm just getting frustrated because I can't put effort into that area, and I won't get into specifics of it. Can't put effort into this area without dropping effort into somewhere else. But I can't do that because I've got this, this, and this to do. And like I think my dad turned around and just was like, Jesus, like, it was like, do you not realise, like, you literally couldn't put food on the table or pay your rent this time last year? And was like, you were just like, please let me just, my mum laughed, and she was like, do you not remember you were on the phone being like, I just need to make it to this amount of money and I can pay rent and I'll have a little bit to pay for this. And like, and she was like, and then just said about like, well, I'm not going to boost my own horn. I'm not going to like blow smoke up my own arse and be like, well, now I'm doing this, this, and this. But just compared it, and we all just laughed and was like, yeah, like, you inherit the next problems, because then your next, it's that thing, I don't know if you've seen it, where the line always moves. So your expectations are always high because your expectations keep getting higher with you. Yeah. So it's like, take it in.
And it's like like you've just said, because the line moves. Before, you wanted to be busier with work so that you could pay for stuff. Now you're busy with work and you can pay for everything, and now the fallback is maybe not enough time in other areas, whereas before you had all the time for everything because you weren't busy. But again, that's a part of like personal and business, like career development too. 100%. Because like we've spoken about, it's, you know, finding that balance and getting to a place where we can have everything where we want it to be. But new levels, new devils. I quite like that.
That's a little Instagram caption, that.
Everyone has something bad to say regardless, so just do what makes you happy.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Like, people are always going to talk.
People are going to say shit.
Yeah. And always. There are people out there that no matter what you do, they're going to hate it. Yeah. Either because they're jealous, because they couldn't do it themselves, like, for whatever reason, they're not going to like it. So
you just got to do it. And that's something that I, honest to God, I wish, you know, when you say this, wish you something you would know, that's another thing I wish I'd known. Like, not spending so much time worrying about other people's not in a horrible way, but thoughts and feelings before my own sometimes. Because it's like, people are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to think the way that they think regardless. So as long as you're cracking on and do what... And my whole, like, outlook on life and perspective on everything else, when I started looking after myself, putting myself first, taking my own boxes first, I was like, oh, I'm actually just a lot happier in myself, and I should have been doing this for a long time.
100%.
Facts.
We're just coming off with all of the...
Honestly, it's coming out at me today.
Yeah. Make notes, guys. If you don't have a pen and paper already, then go grab one and rewind this episode.
Write it down. Yeah. Write it down again in Spanish. Take notes.
And then just to end my questions on another little nugget from Ross. One thing he wishes he knew before he started on his current journey of obviously being my coach. Sometimes clients cry because they've been asked to have an off plan. I don't think I'm ever going to live this down.
Well, I wonder who
had
that.
Yeah. No, it's I think it's just so funny because I'm so different now. But yeah, I'm taking this to the grave with me.
You're literally... You were...
Me and my half a pizza.
Yeah. Look at you. That's growth right there, though.
That is growth. That's what I mean.
So now being like...
Yeah.
Known as a snack queen.
Yeah.
Gotten over that fear. That was uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
Extremely.
Yeah.
It was uncomfortable. You, like, didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
It overwhelmed you.
And that has actually taken 3 years. Well, of working with Ross, because it's 3 years in. 3 years next month I've been with him.
Happy anniversary.
I know. Gonna celebrate by starting prep.
Cute.
Yeah. But, like, it takes time.
Of course.
And, you know, maybe another little thing is just don't give up at the first sign of it getting hard.
Don't rush.
Yeah. My God, yeah, don't rush.
Take your time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I agree. Like, imagine if you had fallen at that first hurdle. Ross, I'm not doing it.
Imagine he'd been like, go and have a pizza. No.
No,
like,
goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I quit.
And yeah. Some people do, though. And that's okay. Sometimes it's not the right time. Some people do. I've even had that with coaching where someone's been like, I can't do this right now. Come back to me and been like, yep. I'm ready. I've sorted myself out.
Yeah.
And then been like, bang, bang, bang. And that sometimes it's not the time. That was their hurdle.
Yeah.
They'll fail and then come back.
Yeah. Because you're never going to be able to... Sorry, my eye is itching at me. So
She's tearing up already.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
right.
God. You're never going to be able to grow until you're in a place where you're able to facilitate that yourself. Like, you can... What is that? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Oh, my God,
People can give you all the tools, all the advice, be like, here it is, on a plate.
On a plate. I will feed it to you.
If you don't want to eat or drink from that plate, you're not going to grow or develop.
No.
So make sure you get yourself ready to grow and to develop. Put yourself in the right environment. If you're not in the right environment and if that's something that you're working towards, then have yourself in a good headspace and be resilient.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mic drop.
Boom. Boom.
But yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Not that I'd argue it.
Go on.
I do agree what you say, but I'm also like, sometimes you never feel ready.
No, but there's a difference between feeling ready but actually being ready.
True.
Because, like, prep is the example of getting on stage. Who's ever ready to prep?
No.
On a rare occasion, yes. But already I'm like, I'm not ready to prep. But I'm going to do it. I am ready to prep. Do you know what I mean?
But you're just thinking, oh my God, like, have I made the improvements? Am I ready? Shall I do that? Yeah. And you're thinking of all the other options. Because again, there's that fear of like, oh my God, am I ready? Yeah.
Whereas, and I'll get myself ready. Yeah. Even if I don't feel ready.
You've got all the steps in place as well to be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very, I mean, I guess more what I was meaning is like, you could come at me and say, no, you're ready. Come on, let's prep. Come on, I'll hold your hand. I'll be with you all the way. Or like, I'll help you prep all of this. But I have to go into the situation myself being like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ready.
You can lead me to water.
And I will drink.
Lead me to the medals. I'll take them.
I'll take them all. Yeah.
But yes.
Ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We did have some other questions on the Google Drive that I can just grab up for 1 second. Unless there's anything else that you wanted to chat about.
No, I went into a little weird headspace of being ready there. Oh, also, I know it's a little bit late, but happy International Women's Day.
Oh,
So-
yes, when was that?
That was 2 days ago. That was over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Hope that
I saw this really funny meme. Well, Val sent it to me and then she put it on her story and was like, for all the men asking if there's an International Men's Day, yes, it's April Fool's.
I replied to that being like,
Yeah.
that's good.
Oh, I did like that. But is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I've said my little Happy International Women's Day.
She said her 2p.
I had my 2p and I've
Yeah.
slotted it in.
Yeah. Did you do anything for International Women's Day?
I played Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, okay.
And that was really, really fun.
Did you win? Because it was Women's Day, so you
I
should have
did.
won. Well, there
I
we
did.
are.
I got 15. 15.
I've never played that game.
Have you not?
No.
Oh my god. When we arrange a girls' night.
Maybe we could do that on the podcast.
I'll do it.
God,
Can we
that's
do that?
chaos. Anyway,
We're gonna come back to
discuss.
this
Yeah,
one.
we'll discuss.
Or the tea.
Yeah. You're just making chaos. Millie's like, there's no chaos right now. How can I stir the pot?
I'm just there in
Just let
my
everyone
corner
be
like,
happy. Yeah.
alright,
Me and
fine.
my peaceful little world over here.
Leave
I've
me
literally
be.
got doo-doo-doo in my head.
You got like little birds floating
Yeah,
around
like
lovely
tweeting,
day.
the sun shining.
I come around with a storm like
Yeah.
whoosh. It's alright. Hey, drama's out of our lives.
Until you speak next week.
Stay
Okay.
tuned.
But yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
No. Thank you for listening. Thank you for
As always.
answering our questions. Thank you for
Yeah.
giving us your little nuggets
2p.
of positivity.
Always.
Yeah.
They really like uplifted me this week.
Mm.
Felt really good.
Yeah.
Didn't know I needed that, and I was like, do you know what? I'm about to change the game.
Yeah. Now we're gonna go conquer the world
Now we're gonna have a meeting
with Starbucks.
with Starbucks
But yeah.
and some food.
So
Have a lovely Friday, because you'll be listening to us on a Friday. Have a lovely
yes.
Friday, guys.
Have a lovely weekend.
Enjoy yourselves. Like, subscribe, follow.
Comment.
Let us know what you want to hear next. A little topic.
Yeah. As always, talk about it. Talk about us.
Always. Always.
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love, peace.